Tonight, Syria's leader Bashar al-Assad is facing worldwide condemnation again, accused of using chemical weapons in his nation's 6-year-long civil war. It's being called the worst chemical attack in Syria in years and the third allegation of chemical weapons use in just the past month. A heads up here for some disturbing images, nothing but disturbing images these days coming out of there. This video comes from a rebel-held area of western Syria near Aleppo. Adults and children, you see them washing them down, trying to get the chemical effects off of them. Many of the children struggling to breathe. It's hard to watch, showing the clear signs of a chemical attack. One relief agency tells NBC News the death toll was 83 in this one attack, 25 of them children, another 350 on the injured list. In the chaos after these attacks, clinics are often targeted. A camera owned by a social media activist was rolling when one such airstrike hit.
الآن الطيران الحربي يحلق.
That is what it's like. Amazingly, we are told that man we saw on camera survived it. The message from the doctors and the medics treating the injured is clear.
It's a disaster, Akhi. All the world are watching us, killed by chemical weapons, and they are supporting Bashar.
The gas attacks are continuing every day, and no one is doing anything to stop these gas attacks.
The Syrian government is denying any involvement. A statement from President Trump today reads, in part, these heinous actions by the Bashar al-Assad regime are a consequence of the past administration's weakness and irresolution. Let's bring into our conversation tonight former Ambassador Chris Hill, four-time ambassador representing the United States in Iraq and South Korea, among other postings. He is a career diplomat, State Department veteran, having served 3 U.S. presidents. Nowadays, he is Dean of the University of Denver School of International Studies. That's where he joins us tonight. Ambassador, I'm going to take you on a brief tour of the world. It's easy to know where to begin, and that's Syria, and it complicates things. This new presidency, this new administration, the urge today to relitigate the last administration. What do you make of what you see?
Well, frankly, I mean, I think it's kind of hard to take that somehow this is President Obama's fault from 3.5 years ago. Certainly, what he said about red lines and the failure to back them up, I think, has become a metaphor for somehow being weak. But I think to pin this particular incident on him is a little far-fetched. I mean, there are many other statements from the Trump campaign and now the Trump presidency that would suggest a kind of indifference to the situation in Syria. There's also been a kind of failure, from what we can tell, to really do what they said they might be able to do, which is somehow engage the Russians and work with them successfully in coming up with a resolution. I don't see a lot of diplomatic effort, let alone effort on the ground, to stop this hideous fighting. And by all accounts, I mean, we have a long way to go before we learn the details of this investigation. This looks a whole lot like the Syrian government dropping chemical weapons on children.
And what would you do if you were handed carte blanche, if you were Secretary Hill instead of Secretary Tillerson? What would you do vis-a-vis Syria?
I would advise that we have to strike them. There has been an uptick in the last month in the use of what appear to be the use of banned weapons. So I would advocate some approach to hit their forces, and then I would work very hard to make sure everyone knows why we're doing it, including the Russians. So and by the way, I'd go to the UN, which I suspect the Trump administration is doing. But I think most of all, it requires a response. This is outrageous. Civilized people cannot just stand by and say this is someone else's fault from 3.5 years ago.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.